and welcome to Aussie Scale Modeller. Jace here, glad to have your company once again. Well, a huge shout out again to everybody that's hit the like and subscribe. People, I can't believe it myself, only 10 away, 10 subscribers away from 500, and I didn't dream about that nearly a year ago. Next week's exactly a year since I posted the actual first ever episode of Aussie Scale Modeller. So to the 490 that have subscribed, thank you so very much. Really appreciate it. A huge shout out again to Monique from iggysticky.com.au. Thank you for your support of the channel. Look, it's amazing. It's great to be able to get on the phone to somebody and have a chat and let me know what's going on. Thank you to Andrew from fullballmodels.com. Make sure you visit Andrew and catch up on some of my previous midweek builds. Just they're on pause at the moment with this Mackay Scale Modelers, sorry, blank, Mackay Scale Modelers competition coming up, and the Challenger 1 build this thing here. So if you haven't seen it already, folks, that's what I'm building. It's a genuine 1960s kit, and I can tell you it's a challenge. But hey, if you want to have a bit of a laugh, bit of a fun, and sympathise with me, watch the build series. Still got some to go. It's just sitting down there. There is one after this, posting of this one. So yeah, look forward to that. What else is happening? Big shout out to Rory's. I'm not sure if I did it last week, but the Titanic paint kits came in from Vallejo. Thanks for ordering that, mate. An update on the 132 border models Avro Lancaster, still in China. Thanks to Andrew from Hobbies Australia. If you've seen the unboxing on Wednesday, you would have seen that when I'd ordered the sweeps, the Edward the sweeps, got right through it, and there was no instructions, there was no decals, there was no photo etch. Got onto Andrew, and it was here within a few days, so thank you very much. This episode, Greg Canning from North Queensland Scale Models. You remember back last year when I didn't actually get to go myself with COVID and everything else that was going on, and we couldn't go to the shows, but they were lucky enough to be able to put it on. And yeah, just a bit of an update, but more about what North Queensland Scale Models is about when they meet, and a bit about Greg, who is a great modeller in his own right, more than 30 years experience. But well, enough of that, guys. Again, I'm not sure if I said at the start, but if you are new to the channel, this channel is about Aussie modelers, Aussie hobby stores, and Aussie products, and Aussie companies, people that support us, and having our own, me trying to do something for the modelling community, because I think it's great, the Australian modelling community, and I want to get it to the world. Speaking of the world, we have an episode called Aussie Modelers Live. That's myself, Aussie Scale Modeller, Hibbo from Hibbo's Model Bench, and Peter from Oz Scale Modelling. Every Sunday night, 6 o'clock, the three of us, absolute idiots, get on and have a good chinwag about what we found out during the week, different topics here and there, this model, that model, what's on our benches. Not much usually changes there at the moment, we're only in the week 2. But we're reaching out to the world so that the world can see what we're about. We're doing guest appearances from different channels, different modelers. So much to go and look forward to. So please, at 6 o'clock every Sunday night, that's Aussie Modelers Live. You'll see it on my channel, Pete and Simon's as well. So please, 6 o'clock, tune in and hit the like and subscribe, guys. Really appreciate it. And again, I'm only 10 away, so thank you very much. Righto, enough said, enough done. Bang, let's roll. Well, welcome, Greg from North Queensland Scale Modelers. How are we, young man?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me on your show. Appreciate it.
Oh, mate, it's an absolute pleasure, because I've been waiting a bit, because the only time I got to see you guys was from photos, and there was no action. It was just still people's. And so, mate, looking forward to the show this year.
Yep. We're going ahead again. This will be our 8th expo. So first one was in 2015. They've been getting bigger and better.
Yep.
COVID knocked them around a bit, as they did with everyone, but hopefully this year will be a good one.
Oh, mate, I've heard a fair bit of interest in it anyway already. Without you and I talking, like it's around the modelling traps. How many you reckon you normally get there, mate? What was like before COVID? What was the turnout?
I think 2018 was our best show. We had some 200 entries from about 30 different modellers.
Right.
But we've averaged somewhere between 150 and 200 entries. It's not a huge venue that we're at. We're at the Army Museum, North Queensland at Jazeen Barracks.
Yep.
We've got a room there, and we've gradually started to spill out from that a bit.
Yeah, as it gets bigger.
Into the main auditorium, but yeah, it's big enough for what we do.
And like being at the Army Museum, that's like a 2-for-1 deal. You get to go to an Army Museum, and you get to go to a modelling show.
Come along, can certainly have a look through the Army Museum, and we get a lot of foot traffic through the display and the expo as well, of people who are coming to the Army Museum anyway. So
yeah, that's great.
You know, I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but we've certainly had quite a number of hundreds go through the expo in the years we've been running it. So,
oh, fantastic, mate! And I mean, for those that are out of staters or might be interested, where can they get? Are the entry forms out now for nominations for a kit or?
We haven't quite got that ready yet, but we've got a little blog that we've used, nqsm.blogspot.com.au.
Right.
And we've got basically all the expos on there going back to 2016, I think. And when the details of the new expo are up, we have the entry forms and the rules and all that there for people to download.
Yep.
So, yep, we normally provide a link with our various advertising about the expo.
Yeah, speaking of links, I'll get you to email those ones and I'll put them up in the episode. But where can people actually go, okay, I want to, I've seen it. Where can I go to see about North Queensland Scale Modellers?
Well, look, the first place to probably check out is our Facebook page.
Yep.
We have a lot of stuff up there. Plus the Blogspot has it all. And we normally put advertisements out in the community notice boards, and there's a little site called What's On in Townsville. We put all the information up there as well. So we do try and get it out. We've had various media interviews in the past with the local radio and television and the like. It's always a bit hit and miss as to whether they're interested in any particular year.
Yep.
But we try and get as much information out there as we can.
Yep. Well, mate, I'll be putting up, excuse me, a bit of an itch here. Yeah, I've got the banner there, mate. So for all my viewers on Sundays, even after this, you'll see, or you would have seen pretty much since the North Queensland Scale Modelers logo. The link's always in the description of where they can actually go from my site straight to see you guys and find out more. Now, mate, a bit about yourself. How long have you been mucking around on a sprue?
Mate, like most of us, I started out as a kid when I was probably in late primary school. I used to walk to and from school, and on the way home there was a little, well, it was a sports store. They sold bicycles, but they also sold a few models. So the two things a kid wanted when I was a kid was a bicycle and some models. So we'd always stop there and check it all out, and you'd save your pocket money. And when you got enough saved up to go and buy something, we all started with the Airfix aircraft kits.
Yep.
And I can remember two in particular that I built as a young bloke, a 72 scale TBD Devastator, and also a 72 scale B17 bitter lace.
Wow.
And, fortunately, they were mostly silver in colour, so I managed to find a pot of silver paint my old man had in the garage somewhere to touch things up. So they got a bit of the silver treatment and the decals and hung from the roof, and that's how a lot of us did it back in the day.
Yep.
There was a big break then when you got into university and study and marriage and kids and things, but I did start back again when my kids were in their primary school sort of years, and tried to get them involved in the hobby as well. And then certainly became a lot more interested myself as an adult. And probably for about the last 30 years now, I've been a pretty serious modeller. I build just about anything I can get my hands on. I've tried most things at some stage, but I'd still say I'm primarily an aircraft modeller.
Right.
I have done several wooden ships over the years, and I've got quite a few in the stash that I hope to get to once I hit retirement, which shouldn't be too far off.
Yeah, talking of wooden ships, I've got the Artisania Endeavour sitting back up in the garage. I can't fit in here at the moment because there's not enough room. But hey,
I've got one of those as well.
Yeah, there's about a bit over 400 kits up in the garage just sitting there. Like I just can't fit them in here. But I've done the whole set, like just the framework of the whole. Yep, that's what I've done on that. It's not bad for 2 years. Yep. But there's like just with the channel and everything, and I think it's dreaming big. But as you would have seen the other week, the unboxing of the Queen over there,
Titanic. Yep.
Oh yeah, she's one. But mate, you've been into it about 30 years, like seriously getting right into it and build everything. I did notice at the show itself, like from last year, the photos I was able to, lucky enough to have and put up, there was a variety, like a really big variety of everything. Like it wasn't, mainly planes or mainly tanks or mainly jets. It was like, it was a great spread. And there was one diorama there. I don't know who did it. It was a really big bugger. And it had like, was the dam walls or something. It was like a viaduct or whatever. Yep. Who did that?
Yeah, I know the guy. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was like a Warhammer thing with a castle and...
No. This is World War II.
Oh, World War II. Okay. No, I'm not sure about that one off the top of my head. I'd have to look back.
I have to go back. It was just... I was just looking and just going, are you... It was 2 tables big, like it was just incredible.
Okay, that might have been the Dora, was it?
Could have been the Dora. It was just mind-blowing. I thought, wow, I've got to see that in real life. So I will be coming up for this one. And, really looking forward to it. When is it on, mate?
It's on the Queen's Birthday long weekend in October. We have the model competition on the Saturday. So in the Saturday morning, people bring all their models in. We set it all up. Saturday afternoon, we do the judging. We've changed our judging over the years. When we first started out, we did a thing called Nnl Judging. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yep. So everyone who entered a model got a form to pick what they thought was the best in each category, and we tallied it all up. That's similar to what they've done traditionally down in Rocky with their comp.
Yep.
And that seemed to work all right, but there's always complaints about these things, and then you get sort of voting blocks who like each other's models, so this group or that group. So we've, over the last couple of years, tried to change to a more objective type of system. It's very hard to be objective about scoring models.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. And this year it will be the more objective system. So using a point system and at least 2 or maybe 3 judges for each category. That worked quite well last year and everyone seemed to be happy with it. So that's how we'll go from here on in.
Cool. I'd like to submit my entry now for the special competition of the box. Because if you're watching the build video on this thing, mate, the only thing that'll be left of it would be in the bottom of a bin. So, yeah, I'd like that. Maybe a new
the
category.
skills of modelling is you conceal your mistakes, hey?
Oh, the mistake was opening the box. That's a bad.
That's pretty hard to conceal, but now that it's out and it's live,
well, everybody's been watching, so that's great. But mate, on a personal note again, so 30 years experience, pretty much like, you know, hard at it. What are you working on at the moment?
Well, I've been working on a couple of things to try and get ready for the Mackay show, which is coming up on the May long weekend.
Yep.
So I've been doing a Revell 1:144 scale Antonov 225. That's a huge heavy lift aircraft. I'll grab it and give you a look if you like.
It was the only one. It's gone now, mate. Beautiful.
So
nice, very nice. I like the panel lines at the back there.
Been a bit of a challenge in many ways, because it's such a big kit and it's on so many wheels. There are 32 wheels all up. As I was building it and got to the stage of putting the wings on, I was trying to get it so that it would sit with a decent dihedral and each wing an appropriate height.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem to want to play the game. So one side was about 1 centimetre taller than the other.
Oh.
So I tried various things, sort of sanding and manoeuvring and carrying on, and eventually I got jack of it all and said, well, I'm just going to glue it all together.
Yep.
I glued it all together and I was still about 8 millimetres out. So I thought, all right, I'll go for a bit of brute force, which normally works. So we got the tape and the weights out to try and push things into the right direction. And that all seemed pretty good until I came back the next morning and found that all I'd managed to do was buckle one of the seams into itself.
Oh,
And leave a big dip. So I then spent weeks and weeks filling, sanding, scribing, carrying on, and it's never looked any good to me. But anyway, I'm to the point where I think I've concealed the mistake sufficiently to be happy with it. And I'm never perfect. I'm never totally happy with anything. I just get to a point where I say, enough is enough. Let's just move on and finish the damn thing.
Yep.
So it's pretty much finished.
Well, it looked fantastic, mate. And it's odd that we lost it this year. It's gone now, for real.
Unfortunately, it got bombed. Yep. So people have asked me when I've showed them this build, are you going to build the one that's been bombed? And I'm not, but I will be attaching a picture to this one.
Yeah,
and the residue.
Yeah, and you'll have are you doing a little, card or whatever? And
yep.
Yeah, awesome, mate. There.
I'll have the pictures there so that people know the story of it. This is the only one that was ever completed. There was another one that did not get completed, but which is still in pieces. So there's some talk that Antonov might try and finish that one. There was a bit of a discussion online whether Antonov had enough warning to move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And some people reckon they did and others reckon they didn't. In any case, it's gone and that's just the way it is. So
I think, in perspective, it's a sad loss of an aircraft, but everything else that's going on there is, that pales in comparison. It's just horrid. So,
yep, absolutely.
Right, I'm moving on to happier things. What is that? An AMG I see behind you there?
It is. So don't do too many cars, and this is only the second one I attempted to do in recent decades.
Recent decades. Mate, great job.
But anyway, I've come to a deciding moment in this build. I got to doing the wheels today.
Yep.
And I've never encountered decals to put on wheels.
Okay.
And I should have gone to YouTube before I tried to put the decals on the wheels.
Yep.
because I completely effed it up. Not only that,
fouled it up.
the front wheels and the back wheels are different sizes.
Yep.
And once I did get the hang of putting them on, I then managed to put the bigger sticker on the smaller wheel. So now it's completely effed and it won't be ready for Mackay. I'll have to see whether I can get an aftermarket set of.
Are they Goodyears or Pirellis?
Bridgestone.
Oh, Bridgestone. Oh, contestant number 3.
These fellas.
Oh, yeah. Potenzas, yeah. Wow.
So
unlucky,
these
mate.
are the weirdest decals I've ever seen. They're printed upside down or back to front, or
Yeah.
and I just soaked them in water the same way I do any other decal, and then had all sorts of trouble getting them on.
There's a reason.
So
It
doesn't
looks
matter
good,
how
mate.
many years you've been around the game, you can still get trapped out.
Oh, mate, well, as I said, that one I'm working on now, that's just, this thing's it's a surprise in every part. Like, it's just there. What you thought is
Part of the challenge, isn't it?
yeah, mate, and it's named appropriately, mine. So, hey, so I'm not. I see your bench there, and I see the signage up there, which is great. I'll pretend you've invited me in. I've got a cup of coffee from you. Well, I'm about to, because that's what I'm going to get from you. You've gone out the kitchen to make it. I'm alone in here, and I thought, oh, I'll take that off your bench, and I've taken your favourite item. What have I taken?
What have you taken?
Yeah.
Well,
You'll miss it straight away.
I will. Okay, I'll show you. You pinched this little critter.
Righto. What? That's a little scriber?
It's not a scriber. It's a scraper.
Okay.
And it's a Citadel one. It's made for scraping the seam lines off figures.
Okay.
It's got a curve on it. And it's just absolutely brilliant for doing curved surfaces.
That looks great.
I start first with this when I stick 2 bits of plastic together.
Yep.
If they need some cleaning up. And then I go to my various grades of sanding sticks and things. And on the edges of wings or the fuselage of aircraft,
yep,
that curve often fits just very nicely to scrape that seam.
And how long have you had it?
I've had that for about 5 or 6 years now.
Cool.
If I ever misplace it, I'll keep looking till I find it.
I would have had nothing to do with it, mate. This is just a hypothetical.
I'm an old-fashioned modeler. I still use that Revel compactor cement with the needle, and I put it on where I want to glue, and I leave it often for several minutes, and then I come back and I stick them together.
Yep.
And if I've done it right and I put a little pressure on, there'll just be a tiny bead of molten plastic come out along the seam. And generally, when you scrape that away, you get a pretty nice, even surface. So,
awesome. Hey, mate, with the show, who are some of your sponsors there?
So our biggest sponsor, who's been a wonderful supporter of our mob in Townsville, is the RC shop. That's Colin Williams.
Colin, the boys. Yep.
He's on Dalrymple Road, or Woolcock Street. Yeah, he's been extremely helpful. He's donated prizes. For a number of years, we were meeting in the back of his shop. He's got a nice little area there that's used as a photo studio and various other things. He's always donated prizes, and he listens to what people want. He's got the most brilliant selection of paints.
Yep.
And if you ever want anything, he'll get it in for you. So, including
my Border Models 132 Lancaster, which is still on the shores of China.
Yep.
Yeah.
So shout out to Cole. He's number one bloke.
Mate, both of him and his son, Keith. I mean, they're just lovely guys, mate. I'll ring up, and it's just, how are you? Not, and Colin, mate, I think 45 minutes, maybe longer. We're just on the phone. Well, yep, okay. So, and it's good. He's a good talker, and he's always up for a chat. and his knowledge is very good.
Yep. We've had various other people help us out and sponsor us in the past. The Armour Artillery Museum in Cairns
Yep.
has often donated some passes as prizes, and they even sent a kid or two down, I think, last year. And they also last year had a model comp as part of their Armour Fest.
Yep.
And I've been in touch with them, and they say they're going to do another model comp this year. So that's something we hope to be able to get up there for. I think that's somewhere in August from memory. Toy World have helped us out in the past, but not in the last couple of years. We hope to re-establish some sponsorship relationship with them.
Yep.
BNA Model World have been very good in sending us a few kits each year for prizes.
Comic Book Factory, if I recall.
Sorry?
The Comic Book Factory?
Yes, that's right, the Comic Book Factory. They're a little shop out at the Willows, and they kicked in something last year as well. So
yeah, I put there, I think I did last year, but I've already threw out a few episodes. I just put them up. I've never actually been able to get in contact with them yet, but I saw, yeah, you go there, you could do some reference material from them and stuff like that. I'm not sure what else they have there, but yeah, I'll be getting. I just thought, people like the smaller businesses off their own bat helping out modelers. I mean, that's just great. I just sort of.
Absolutely.
Right, mate. And so you said November, was it?
October.
October, November. Mate, I'm within a month either side. I'm doing well.
1st and the 2nd of October this year.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend.
Queen's birthday long weekend. Yep.
That's the one. Yeah. And mate, after these wonderful kits you've done for the upcoming, any major builds?
Mate, I've got probably 10 or a dozen so started kits hanging around on shelves.
Yep.
And I promised myself that I'm going to finish at least one of those for everything new I start. So I've got another Antonov, an AN12.
Yep.
That I'm going to finish. It's a what's it? Eastern Express, I think. No, Rodin. It's a Rodin kit.
Yep.
1M44. And then I've got the new Zevda C130J30 with the Hamilton Hobbies conversion and the Ronan Decals interior lot, and
yep.
Hopefully it's going to put out an external decals as well. So yeah, it's hopefully the next off the shelf one.
Oh well, mate, 10's not enough to choose from. So with the show, what's normal admission, mate?
Look, we don't actually charge an admission fee because people are coming to the museum anyway, and there's no admission fee to the museum, but we have a little box there, and if they want to put in a gold coin donation, we like them to do that. We've traditionally supported a group called Hounds for Healing.
Yep.
And they're a group that trains assistance dogs for returned service personnel with PTSD.
Good stuff.
Great stuff. So we've been able to donate a reasonable amount to them each year. A lot of that comes through either donations at the expo, or we generally have a raffle that raises a fair bit as well.
Yep.
So the raffle might have a dozen or 50 different prizes, and it's just start at the first winner picks the first one, and then it works down until the last one's gone.
Great stuff. And you've got, I mean, it's just the usual trophies and everything, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, put me down to sponsor a couple of those for you, mate. I always like to sponsor for shows the junior modeler.
Okay.
Because I like to promote. Number one, it's great to see kids modeling instead of playing Xboxes or having their mobile phones.
Yep.
And it keeps it going. It's their step, and they've got a trophy or whatever. I mean, you and I got trophies back when we were, well, some of us, I wasn't that good, but I saw other kids get trophies. But there was no participation certificates back then. But the thing is, I just want to keep encouraging kids to build. And the World War II aircraft, that's not no jets. So ME-262s are even out of the picture. No, a propeller flight, but big, mate, I'd like to sponsor those boys. That's my donation kind of thing. So
thank you very much.
Oh, mate, it's a pleasure. So I've only got a few, what have we got? What are we now? April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 7 months. I could complete a kit by that time.
I'm sure you could. Several if you wanted to.
You've been watching the channel. I'm still working on them.
Just got to pick one that goes together and hasn't got very major fit issues.
Yeah.
Piles to be in shape.
Hey, mate, the club itself, North Queensland Scale Modelers, now I'm guessing it's from outlying regions as well. Is there club meetings or what happens? Or
so North Queensland Scale Modelers was started up somewhere around 2013. I didn't know about it until my stepson came home one Sunday after his shift. He was working as a console operator at the local BP servo.
Yep.
And he said, every other Sunday there's this 3 or 4 blokes trot across from over at the library and, buy cans of Cokes and sausage rolls or whatever, and having a chat with them today. And they say, oh, yeah, we're a modelling group. We meet at the library.
Yep.
I thought, okay, sounds good. So I rocked up and met the guys there. There were only 3 or 4 sitting around a table, but they were nice blokes and
Yep.
They were doing what we do. And that's how I got started with the North Queensland Scale Modelers. One of the guys had set up a Facebook page and I joined that. And as time went by, various other people came to the group and went from the group. And a lot of them were service people,
Yep.
Army people, or Air Force people. So they'd come to Townsville for a few years and then they'd be posted somewhere else. But most of them still stay in touch on our Facebook group. And we have a meeting generally once a month. With COVID, we started to do the Zoom virtual meetings.
Yep.
And we went back to those in the beginning of this year because when COVID got into Queensland and really took off, people weren't too keen on getting together. And we've kept them up. We actually had a meeting today. We had half a dozen people join us, including from Mackay and Brisbane and 4 locals. So
excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and get along to one of those, mate.
Yep. Excellent. Be happy to have you.
Mate, thank you very much. I mean, I look good in the dark. Mate, what's the future of the club like? What are your aims, your goals, that sort of stuff? What's the like outside of the expo, the model show comp? What's the
look, I think we're happy just to stay doing what we're doing. We don't have any grand
plans
to take over the world or anything. If there's a few people who want to get together and enjoy modelling and put on an expo and raise a bit of funds for charity, then that's great.
Good models.
We have got another project that we're looking at doing. So as well as the Hounds for Healing, we've recently started up a affiliation with Mates for Mates.
Yep.
Another veteran-related charity. They have a big centre in Townsville.
Yep.
To support our return service people. And we're negotiating with them currently to do what we're going to call a Models for Mates program.
Yep.
So the idea is to provide some models and basic equipment and have a meeting, say once a week. We're going to do a pilot, hopefully in June for 4 weeks. And the idea is to get a few of the people together, give them a kit, give them the tools, sit around a table, help them build and paint and decal, and by the end of 4 weeks end up with something they've created.
Mate,
There may be someone out there who that's something that may be therapeutic to them, and if that's the case, well and good, they can continue on.
Mate, awesome. I mean, after your tire effort, I don't think you should be allowed to be near the decals, but you know, that can be discussed, I'm guessing, in a club meeting. Big, small, big, small.
Big,
wide,
small, wheel decal, yes.
All good, mate. Hey, we were talking before about some of the amazing photos I got to see from last year, and thanks for sending me the ones that you have, mate. Can you talk us through a few of those before we head up into the wide world of the photo montage?
All right. So the first couple of photos I've sent you are actually of articles. One's called Hobbies as Healthcare, and the next one is A Man Needs a Hobby. And I'm a doctor, and I look for evidence, and there's increasing evidence that doing things like model is good for your mental health. Who would have thought, hey?
No, mate.
Provided you don't take it too seriously. I think we've always known this, and that's why we do it, because it gets us away from the worries of the world. But yeah, it's becoming increasingly recognised as a thing. And of course, another great organisation is the Men's Sheds.
Yep.
Where people often do woodworking and that sort of stuff for getting a bit of social connection and stress relief. I've put in a couple of pictures there of a display that I've had in my surgery for many years. So I've got a bit of a display cabinet with a range of different models I built over the years, and that's always been a great attraction for the young ones when they come in.
Mm-hmm.
So the girls have to come out at the end of every day or two and get the Windex out and wipe all the drool and fingerprints off the glass front. But anyway, I've got a picture there going back to 1999 of myself and my 2 young boys. We did all right at the local model competition in that particular year. The boys were very much into Independence Day at that time, so they did that, and I did one of the Academy 350 Titanics.
Yep.
It was back in the days before fibre optics and all that sort of stuff. So I did want to put lighting in my Titanic, so I drilled out all the portholes, and then I got a little 12-volt operated fluoro tube, which I stuck inside the hull.
Yep.
And it turned it on, and the light came out the porthole. So I thought that was not too bad. But
great job.
One of these days I'll get a fibre optic kit.
Yeah. As a doctor, like you are, and not a doctor, even on the mental health side, don't. Just don't. It's not worth it. You know, when we were saying, like, with the mental health there before, I'm very fortunate modelling pretty much with my injury that I had in the mines, like going from working pretty much all your life to you are now stopped. You cannot do what you did. You can't ride your bike, you know, for thousands of kilometres. You can't go fishing. You can't do this. You can't do that. And that black dog came 5 times, and the last time was pretty. It was about 5 minutes left, if that.
Yep.
Before it had succeeded, and if it wasn't for the modelling, if it wasn't for the modelling community, if it wasn't being able to speak to blokes like yourself and everybody else I get to speak to, that men's mental health, men talking to men know what men are on about, and it's not being sexist or, you know, you can talk to your wife, but when your wife says you need to talk to blokes, don't talk to me. That was yeah. So yeah, and mate, thank you for your work.
Yep. And we've had people in the group who've had various issues over the time, and it's been great that we've been able to kick in and help out in one way or another. So, you know, any social connections are good.
Yeah, and like when the injury happened, you know, I said, I'll see you in a few weeks, boys, and Yeah, you're all gung ho and like, yeah, I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. But in your head, you're screaming.
Yep.
You can put on this big smile, but inward, your brain is going to mush. And so thanks for people like yourself.
That's a major adjustment to make. And that's the same with these guys coming back from their overseas service, you know, who are disabled either physically or mentally. And you can't be disabled, have a physical disability without the mental component to go with it. So it's all,
my
all the same box of dice.
Father's ex-rappy chappy, and yeah, I'm sure somebody made his bed and tucked him in at night and gave him a good story. But he was saying only other week, the DV thing, they want to go through his whole squadron and make them relive a lot of things that they shouldn't have to. And one was about 350 metres away, he found his mate's, the skin off his mate's face. They picked it up off the ground.
Yep.
Like, who wants to relive that? Like, so again, mate, thank you.
But at least people are getting some acknowledgement and some help these days. I know my old man didn't get that, and a lot of the guys from back in World War I and World War II didn't. They just had to cope on their own.
It was just be a man.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
All righty. So I've included a few pictures there of some of the builds I've made over the years, just to show you the variety, some aircraft. I tend to like things that are a bit esoteric. So I've got a bunny fighter that's from the Eddard Bunny Fighter Club, 21. There's a thing called a Thai Hercus, which is from a group called Tan Model.
Never heard of them?
Never heard of them. No, they were Turkish mob.
Okay.
They came on with a couple of really good things, and they were talking about doing lots of other things that sounded great, including a 1 in 32 F-111.
Wow.
I think they've probably faded into obscurity. I haven't heard anything from them for a while. I don't mind the odd Polish kit.
Yep.
I quite like the Antonovs, the Yaks, the Aero Albatross, Russian helicopters.
Yeah.
You name it. I have done some sci-fi stuff. So I've got a, I've forgotten what it's called now. It's a Romulan something or the other cruiser.
Isn't that Star Trek?
Hey?
Isn't Romulan Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek, yep. I don't mind my ship, so I've done plenty of plastic ones as well as the wooden ones. Got a photo of a Bismarck there for you to have a look at.
Awesome.
As I said, I've done some cars. There's a Dodge Viper there. Done some motorcycles, so I normally try and trot one of those out each year to take to the comps.
Yep.
I even occasionally do a tank. So, what else have I got there? I've got some other photos of my workspace and some photos of our group. We've met in different places over the years. That's included a couple of libraries in the local area. We were meeting at my clinic at one stage when we needed somewhere to meet. We tend to have, when we can, little workshops on different topics. So I've got one photo there showing someone demonstrating the static grass applicator for their dioramas, and another one figure painting. We often put on a display at the libraries as a way of promoting the group and our expo.
Fantastic.
So they have a display cabinet that different community groups put on a display in. So we generally do that once or twice a year. We've had build displays at Toy World in the past, where we set up some tables and get some blokes sticking models together.
Cool.
Which help them with their model sales.
Yep.
We've been to the Townsville show for a few years. There's a group called the Military Reenactors Group, and so they have all their uniforms and equipment and vehicles and heaven knows what else. They've actually got their clubhouse in the showgrounds, and we normally get a corner in there to put some models on display. So there's a few pictures from that. And then I've also included a couple of pictures from the regional model displays.
Yep.
So
I think I saw some Rocky ones in there, didn't I?
Yeah, usually one or two or more of us head down to Rocky each year. I think I've been to about 6 of their shows. This year there wasn't one, and that's the first one I've been in quite some time. I haven't managed to get to every Mackay one, but I have been to quite a lot of those, and I did go to them back in the 90s as well. There's one picture there in the Mackay show pictures of their previous president, who sadly passed away from cancer some years back, Greg Martin, but he was just a wonderful bloke.
The spaceman.
An expert sci-fi modeler.
Yep.
And his forte was collecting any matter of domestic refuse, containers and lids and tubs and whatever, and turning them into absolutely wonderful models.
Yeah, when I was there, was it last year or the year before? Like, it was just, crazy.
Yep. And that's about it. I mean, the photos are pretty self-explanatory. There's a few of the Rocky show, a few of the Mackay show. And then I've just got some stuff that we've already talked about with sponsors and beneficiaries of our group. So,
mate, fantastic. And this will be airing after Aussie Modelers Live with myself, Hibbo and Pete. And you might won't know it's come up. So I'll ask you already. Now, there's been between the three of us, I think I come up with the idea we're going to build a kit each, but it has to be the same kit.
Yep.
And I said, well, let's just build cars, because I can do that. Or planes, I'm good at. And Pete's gone, tanks. And I'm like, well, I've never built I think I built one tank in my life 20 odd years ago. So I'm like, and I said, it has to be over 100 parts. I'm choosing it. I said, I want it to be a Tamiya kit because they fit, and I've been through enough stress lately. But the options all the people are going to get, they get to choose the categories, either a tank or a World War II aircraft. So if you can ask the boys at the club to vote on it, they got 2 weeks. They just, in the comment section, they can just vote whether it's a tank, whether it's an aircraft. So, and okay. Hibbo's actually said, oh, well, I'll choose what aircraft I went, or what tank. I went, well, that's not doing it. So, but mate, I think that'd be great.
If it's a tank, it needs to have individual track links, okay?
Yeah, no. Because Pete did bring that up. He said, there's about 100 of them. I said, no. Nah, hey, mate, thank you so very, very much for today. Appreciate it, taking your time. Thanks to the North Queensland Scale Modelers. People that are watching, make sure you go and visit the link up here and click the link in the description. That way you can get in contact with Greg, the club. What nights do you usually meet?
We normally meet on a Sunday morning.
Sunday morning?
And our virtual meets often a Saturday afternoon. So.
Right, no worries. And if you could just, whereabouts would you meet on a Sunday?
Currently, we're at the Aikenvale Library in Townsville.
No worries. So if you're around the Aikenvale, what time?
10 till midday normally.
Happy days. That's a good hour to get up, 10 on a Sunday. Anyway, mate,
okay.
Happy Easter. Stay safe. Thank you for everything you do for the modelling community, you and your club. Fantastic people. And as I say, mate, it's all good, and catch you later.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Modelling, and keep calm.
How good's that, folks? Greg, mate, you're a champion. Thanks for your time for the interview, mate. Thanks for letting us know more about North Queensland Scale Modelers. It's up in Townsville, folks. So October is the long weekend up there. Make sure you visit their site on Facebook, and have if you're in the area again, or you're going to be up that way, why not enter if you're a modeller? Or come in. I mean, you get to go and see the military museum, so that's pretty darn good. All for the price of zero. I think just a gold coin donation, so that's fantastic. And the people up there are very, very nice. And don't forget, you can join them on their virtual builds. I think it's Saturdays, I think Greg said. And Greg, mate, you're a great modeller, and that Antonov looks fantastic. Rightio. Well, what have we got coming up? Yeah, a couple more. Well, I've got a list of people to interview, and I think it's the age getting there that I can't remember them all. But stay tuned, folks. Next week, another. I think we got. It's the Canberra Club, the ATC, Australia's longest running club, with the most members or something. More details. Stay tuned. Watch us next week on Aussie Scale Modeller. Don't forget, Aussie Scale Modelers live at 6 p.m. Sunday nights. Queensland time, and my midweek build for the Challenger 1, and the update on the Mackay show. Don't forget, Wayne from BB's Hobbies, he's one of the major sponsors up there. The guy's a great human being. Don't forget Braden from outlawpaints.com.au. Braden was at the start of this all, and he's interview number 1, and I'll never forget it. So myself, Braden, and Andrew will be up at the Mackay Scale Modelers competition. If you're in the area, please drop in and say hi, and say you've seen us and complain about my head. So yeah, no worries. Well, anyway, guys, that's going to be a wrap, and as I always say, it's all good, and catch you later.